You're listening to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast demanding a recall for the new governor of Dessex. We are rotten for Governor McGrotton.
Fuck.
Okay.
That guy.
That's going on the merch, man. I'm Jason, the angry Ginger Jedi guy. Please excuse me for my intentionally terrible Star Wars theories, but I digress. I'm broadcasting live from inside my own Wookiee Poo studio. I'm not alone. Unfortunately, no neighbor Cole this week. No Dave. But I do have my very own Darth Mathias. I want a toy. I want my own mat I can play with.
You want it like a bobblehead?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I was thinking, like a blow-up doll.
That would make us a lot closer in some ways.
Yeah.
I think a bobblehead would be good. You know, we had the Lego setup that Mike Laybourne did for us, which he's going to have to redo now since Cole fucking left the studio.
I thought he said something. I thought he was going to send it to me at one time.
Yeah, I think he said something about that.
Because he asked me for my address, and I was like, oh, what's coming? And nothing ever came. Maybe he's taken me turning him into the heel a little too seriously, But
No, I don't think he gets offended by that stuff.
okay, good.
Thank you for joining us from acertainpointaskew.com. Please interact with us on Twitter at FACPAPod. You can email the show, FACPAPod@gmail.com. We are part of the Podawan podcast network at Podawans on Twitter. A reminder on our giveaway that we're currently doing. It is for the Mandalorian Pulse Blaster, Nerf Pulse Blaster, I guess I would say.
Can relatives or people associated with the FACPA show win this?
No.
Fuck.
I try to do it so, there's going to be like a statute of limitations on previous winners of a grand prize item being able to win again. But I try to kind of not let, right. If you won the Darksaber, you're not getting the Pulse Rifle. That's just the way it works.
I feel that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you answer our question of the week, you get an entry. You send us a Maul Bag email, you get an entry. And if you write a review, and hey, guys, listeners, you listening?
I think
we would love some new reviews.
Yeah. You know what? I'm hoping Jeannie wins the Pulse Rifle, and you send it to me, and then I can put it over the hearth at the house here.
There you go.
Because
it'll stay there for a year.
I have the mall hilt for about a year and a half, so
right, exactly.
Things could work out for me by the time she actually gets it. I'm sick of it anyway. I don't need it anymore.
True. Yeah, you only want it for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to this show, obviously the number one thing we want is for people to listen to the show and enjoy it and maybe tell other people about it. That would be fantastic. And of course, we love all the interaction we get, especially with our question of the week stuff. But, if you have a few minutes, it helps us out. Why don't you go ahead and write a review for us? We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and spread the word on the tweets. Give everyone, we know we have some people who listen to multiple Star Wars podcasts, and it helps to spread the word. Because I know there are so many that I think at some point the cup runneth over on Star Wars podcasts in someone's queue. But I have to imagine that we are better than 60% of those podcasts.
I hope so. You said,
yeah.
We're not going to say which one, but you sent me a blurb from another show, and you said, "God, is this what we sound like?" or something like that.
My God, there's no fucking way. I'm not going to call myself a professional podcaster, but I've been doing this for 16 years. What's it been? 14 years? 15 years?
Yeah.
There is no goddamn way. I imagine they've got listeners, but we could steal every one of them if I was podcasting from the toilet and you were on your deathbed.
They seem so uninterested in being there. The guy's yawning.
But he literally yawned. Okay, first of all, you edit a little bit. You could hear it audibly.
Yeah, there's some rules. One, maybe you don't have to edit. That's not a requirement. However, if you're going to do stuff like that, you should. Don't yawn on air. And my biggest bugaboo. Don't fucking eat on air. So I might probably take the yawns more than the eating. Your drinking thing isn't as bad, although that's a bad slurp. However, there's some things you should do that maybe make it interesting for people to listen to, whether that's, just keeping a nice clean audio and making it, something that's nice to listen to, or actually sounding like you care about the conversation you're having so that we actually care to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go all podcasting 101, but the first rule is to find something you actually have passion about and podcast about it. Yeah. These guys could have fooled me.
It was huge long pauses and anyway. I don't know.
I've heard Trekkies, whatever they're calling themselves now, have more passion for Star Wars than these guys. Oh my God.
Anyway, we will not call out who that was.
I don't remember who they were. I'd call them out. I'm the angry ginger. I'm full force today. I hate everybody.
All right. Well, this will be interesting, especially considering the episode we're going to discuss later.
Hated it. Oh, it's my turn, isn't it?
It is.
All right. On the show today, besides my anger, we got a question of the week. We got, who is Phee? How do you say this last name?
Phee Genoa.
Oh, I was going to say Genoa.
Genoa, right, so, like Italy.
Genoa?
Or I guess you say Genoa. Sorry.
Do you know who Phee Genoa is?
There you go.
News. Ghost Track 17, Star Wars, upcoming film news, and we got some Pikachu Wars. All of this is in the news. It all has to do with Star Wars. Trust us. Stay with us. And then we've got a Bad Batch Episode 3, The Solitary Clone, we're going to cover in depth. Probably a good 9 hours for this 27-minute episode.
Easily.
And then we've got one fucking email. I hope I'm on your live speakers at work in your cubicle, and I just blew like everyone's minds right now. But come on, one email in the Maul Bag. We can't have it anymore. We're not going to do it. Here's what's going to happen.
We're going to quit the show.
If we get one fucking email, yeah, I'm going to quit the show. I haven't. It's New Year. I haven't.
It's been a while.
I haven't said I was going to quit the show yet. If we get one email from now on, whenever we do the Maul Bag, which is usually weekly, so if there's one, it gets canceled out. We won't read it. There has to be more than one.
Well, do we save it though and then read them all together at the end?
Yeah, we'll save
sorry.
it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you've never podcasted with
Are
me
we going to
before.
have a FACPAtoid today? Because, that's your department.
Oh, yeah, I got one in there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I did not let you down this week.
Awesome.
New year, new JJ. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Do you want me to start with the question of the week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Episode 1 of season 2 of The Bad Batch introduced us to Phee Genoa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Italian pronunciation.
All right.
Who is she? And what is her relationship with Sid? Does she have any ties to other characters we've met before? Yes, we have an answer from the guy.
I know who it is. It's Wanda Sykes.
Nailed it. Nice job.
Yep.
Very good sleuthing. Do you have a theory? I think we talked about it last week and we were trying to figure out, like, you thought maybe she had some sort of little bit of a, I don't know, one-upmanship on Sid or like a little bit of power.
Yeah, I think
over
she
her
was like, if there's the pyramid of bosses, she's like a level up. She seemed a little too sassy with her feet on the desk to be like, not like Sid's like not one to be pushed around, right? So there was definitely some respect there that I feel. At least like maybe like they experimented with each other in college.
They could have. They were roommates.
Yeah, yeah.
Tried some stuff out.
I've heard things about Wanda Sykes, and I feel she goes that way.
Oh, okay. So that would just an extension of her character, her voice.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did have some answers that were sent in. First one is from, you're not going to believe this, Mike Laybourne.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Sid is Fee's former lover.
Oh,
there
fuck,
you go.
called it.
But Sid wanted to settle down and run a bar, while Phee wanted to keep pirating DVDs. They were just different people.
They're just different people. So they love each other, but they can't make it work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I love that. That reminds me a little bit of the Reality Bites scene. I don't know if you remember that movie very well. When she's looking for a job everywhere, and she goes in and talks to Andy Dick, and he's like, "You're going to make copies of videotapes for me." And she's like, "Oh, is this like a pirate organization?" He goes, "Do I look like a pirate to you?"
I don't remember that at all. I don't remember Andy Dick being in Reality Bites.
He's just in one scene. He's in it for like 30 seconds. He's like, "You're going to make lots of videotape copies for me."
Shout out, Andy Dick got one of the biggest laughs I've ever had in my life. Have you ever seen Employee of the Month? With
is that where they work?
Yeah, it's like they work at like a Costco or a Sam's Club. It's Jessica Simpson, Dane Cook, and I want to say Dak Shepard is he's like the guy that he's Employee of the Month every month. Like he's the cool guy at the place.
Okay.
But they have a birthday party for one of the people there, and Andy Dick is one of the guys that work like the warehouse area.
Yeah.
And he's got these glasses, like Coke bottle glasses. His eyes are huge. And they're at this birthday party sitting around a table, and someone pops a balloon. I can't remember what it was, but he fucking freaks out. He loses his shit instantly. You don't even expect it. And I fucking about fell on the floor. Holy cow, it's so fucking funny.
All right. Yeah. A lot of Andy Dick love today.
I love Andy Dick. I hear he's a fucking major asshole.
Is he?
Yeah, I've heard
that's a shame.
multiple stories. I see videos on the Reels or the TikToks, whatever the kids are doing these days. And for whatever reason, I ran into a string of them where people were sharing stories about how much of an asshole Andy Dick is.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that.
I still like him as an actor.
Yeah, there you go. Separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Next up, Brian Auer. Phee is Sid's enforcer for her protection racket. I don't think she's the enforcer.
No, you called it out last week. Sid's the muscle.
Yeah, she's the muscle.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then finally, Chris Meyer. This is funny. Sid and Phee came up together on the interplanetary comedy circuit. Sid struggled to gain traction, and Phee's star rose. Eventually, Phee was offered a primetime TV show, so Sid decided for something more stable. She bought the comedy club and slowly morphed it into a bar. That's good
this
stuff.
Sounds
Chris.
like a couple of sitcoms merged into one.
Yeah, I know.
Like
absolutely.
The Marvelous Miss Maisel meets Cheers meets, I don't know.
Well, there's obviously a big Cheers feel to this whole thing, considering Rhea Perlman, but also, you know, the Cliff and Norm characters, Bolo and what's the other guy's name? Bolo and shit.
I don't remember. The Athorian? What's
Ketch?
his name?
Ketch.
Is it
Bolo and Ketch.
What
The Athorian is
what are
Bolo.
the odds? What are the odds if we go 4 seasons, right? What are the odds Danny DeVito shows up and does a voice?
That would be fucking great. I think it should happen.
Right?
Love Danny DeVito.
Yeah. And it should be like a character that hates her.
There you go. That would work.
Like he's brought in, like he's a hitman. He comes in to kill her.
Whoa, it got dark quick. Oh man! All right, thank you everybody for sending in your answers to our questions. We appreciate it. We'll fire another one off next week, and hopefully you'll join in on that action. To the news, Ghost Track 17. So last week, some rumors dropped about a Favloni project, codenamed Ghost Track 17, being in the works and possibly going into production sometime soon. So what this means, nobody really knows, because they've speculated everything from like being a new codename for Mando Season 4, which Favreau is writing right now, to a new series, some sort of Mandoverse spin-off series. And then the other thing being that this could be a reference to the hidden track number 17 on Abbey Road by the Beatles that was called Her Majesty.
Her Majesty.
That is quite a fun theory. And then some have even said, well, the Ghost, maybe that's a reference to the Ghost crew from Rebels, but that just seems off because we're going to see those people, or some of those people anyway, in Ahsoka. So I doubt that would be the case.
Yeah. I mean, the Ghost is like, that kind of perked my ears up at first, but then the sleuthing the internet did with the Her Majesty, but like, where do you go with that? Like, who's the Majesty? My best guess is it's oh fuck, of course I forget her name because I'm podcasting. Katie Sackhoff's character.
Oh yeah, Bo-Katan.
Yeah, maybe she gets her own like story.
Yeah, that would work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thought. I didn't think about it that way because I was trying to think of which princess are we talking about here,
right? Especially
if it's during that time frame or around that time frame. You know, I mean, I suppose you could do. It could be Princess Leia, but you're really going to do a show about Princess Leia? I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, it could be Kenobi season 2 then.
Yeah, that could be it. That's true. They show her again.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they did say that they thought that might happen.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to happen. I think there's more there, and even if there's not, there's a good enough writer to make something happen.
Good enough writer. There's some good like supplemental characters. I think having Ewan back would, of course, be great. But hey, if you do it, and are you listening, Favloni?
I'm listening
because they listen.
Yes.
Why they never write into the show, I'll never know.
They need plausible deniability.
But they maybe not 6 episodes, huh? Can we bump that up?
I think so.
10.
Yeah,
10 would be nice. 10 would have been a nice number. I think 6 was a few too many.
Well, I mean, originally we had talked about it that the idea was finally leaked that it was supposed to be a trilogy of movies. Mm-hmm. I don't think the same writer's going to be involved, and I know they brought other people in, but who's the guy? I forget now. There's so many fucking writers out there, but
oh god,
was it the first guy that was attached to Kenobi, right? When he was writing the film,
yes.
The idea was it was supposed to be a collection of movies. So, and then they kind of retooled it and worked some things, but he had like 3 movies fleshed out, and Lucasfilm, I'm sure holds the rights to anything that was ever written, so they can steal some of that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as we discussed before, I think if you do a season 2, I think we need to stay away from Vader. I think you've shown us the Vader scenes that maybe people wanted and they deserved, but I don't think you keep bringing him in.
Well, back in the day when they were going to do the Star Wars story films, there was word that it was going to be a Yoda film and a Vader film, and I was like, I just can't see a Vader film, but the little teases they've given us over the years now with the stuff we've seen in Rebels, the stuff we've seen in Kenobi, we're probably going to see something in Ahsoka. Like some of the comic book stuff that I've read, I wouldn't mind seeing a Vader centric story. Yeah,
so it would just focus on his time at the height of his power kind of deal.
Well, even like getting to the height of his power, like the tumultuous relationship that is between him and the Emperor.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The early days.
I think it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. Well, we will see. Speaking of upcoming films, we talked about the Damon Lindelof film last week, possibly going into production in April. More rumors on that front. Allegedly, they are casting a female person of color as the lead. You know, Jay, when are us white guys ever going to get a break?
I know. Like, God. It's been decades.
Allegedly, though, there is an expectation that that not only will we get an update on this movie, its celebration, but maybe they will even announce other future movies, like actually lay out the slate for 25, 26, 27, maybe kind of the plans up to 5 years in advance. So once again, we're starting to build that fucking buzz for celebration and hopefully not letting ourselves down.
Because we recently did a whole report that like Kathleen Kennedy got like her hand slapped.
Yes.
Stop giving too much information out, which is like ridiculous when it comes to, you know, us mocking their marketing and everything. But
right.
I think they should. I think they should come out and they should be very open and be like, hey, this is what our plan is now, and do like the whole Kevin Feige thing that he did a couple years with Marvel, where he just gave out all of Phase 4 basically. Or no, it would have been, was it everything leading up to Endgame, I think? So
I
it was
don't
a couple years
recall,
ago.
but I mean, they did, of course, they had that Investor Day years ago where they laid out a whole ton of shit, but it wasn't necessarily late. It was just kind of rapid fire, like just shotgun format. Of just, there's this,
and
there's
it was the same time when Kennedy announced like the, the homegirl that got fired.
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune show. What was it?
Oh god damn.
I want to call it like Storm Droppers or Troopers or
Storm Droppers
of the
is a
Republic.
great name.
Something of the Republic.
Storm Droppers.
Yeah, wasn't she? She was a drop shipper or some shit. What was
it's DJs. They drop the bass. Storm Droppers. No, it was. I can't believe neither of us can remember this.
Look, I'm going on like 17 hours of being awake and I'm podcasting. I don't want to hear shit about my stupidity.
We're making fun of other people. Nobody should be listening to us. We can't even remember anything.
Yeah, but
something of the New Republic.
We actually, yes.
Rangers of the New Republic.
Rangers, yes.
Is it?
Was,
okay,
yes.
Yay. Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, we'll go with
Nailed
it.
it.
Anyway.
I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
But we're talking about how we could get some celebration news about the new films and that they might actually lay it out and say, this film is coming this time, this film is coming this time. I mean, I'm sure they're a little gun shy just in the sense that you've heard all these rumors and all these things have bounced around and then projects have been tabled and all this stuff. So it's like, do you really want to line yourself up for a date when you know it's been this rough? I don't know.
Yeah, especially when like Kennedy has like the biggest trigger figure when it comes to firing the heads of a movie or anything. She's like, yeah, we're done.
This ain't working. Not feeling it.
That's why there's so much news recently about all these writers attached to scripts. They're gonna get about 10 movies rolling. One of them's bound to make it through.
I appreciate Kennedy. It's like being on a bad date. You know, she's just like, you know what? We don't need to go through through all the motions here. This clearly is not a match. Let's just move on. I'm going home.
She's movie swiping left and right.
Yeah, right. Finally, Pikachu Wars. So a recent report that Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit, I think is how you say that name, have been hired by Lucasfilm for an unspecified project. And this is the duo behind the recent Detective Pikachu film, which was a real tour de force, I heard. I'm sure it was great. I think it actually got decent reviews. Well, wasn't Ryan Reynolds the voice?
I think it did. Ryan Reynolds was the voice, and I think it did some money. Like it did all right.
Yeah.
So
I
want to say this article, I could peek into it real quick, but you probably have it up. It listed like 3 other projects these guys were involved in at one point, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't have the article up.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of animation related stuff, so it makes you think that maybe there's something animated coming out, perhaps.
Yeah.
Because they didn't say what this project is, and they only said Lucasfilm. So fuck, it could be Indiana Jones or Willow for all we know.
Ooh, yeah.
It would seem like Star Wars has the biggest, universe for them to explore.
Yeah.
I really fucking hate Pokemon. Both my sons went through this phase where they were getting the cards and shit, and I had to hear about all those names and Charizard and all those fucking things. And
I'm hearing it all the time.
We just got to a point where we were doing kind of because we finally finished our renovation at our house, we were able to move our shit back upstairs. And so we're like, okay, we need to go through everything in the basement and like let's purge here. And it was just Pokemon shit everywhere that they haven't touched in like a couple years. And I was just like, okay, we're getting rid of all this stuff, guys.
Did you just toss it? Some of that shit's probably worth money.
We're giving away a lot of it. I asked them, I said, are any of these like rare cards or anything? And I don't think anything is okay. I don't think we had anything of huge value. Nothing that would be worth pursuing, I don't think. But we will see. One last little nugget that just came out today. Yeah. Apparently on Monday, during the Bucks Cowboys game, they will release the new trailer for Mando season 3. Can't
Monday Night Football.
Let's go. That's coming up fast, man. That's like 6 weeks away.
Man, that's it.
Yeah, something like that.
That's gonna be a good run. I'm gonna be like in a really good headspace. I think like covering 2 different shows, like really in the Star Wars feel of it. I'm gonna start watching Mando probably next week and get through those 2 seasons. Probably Book of Boba Fett again. Yeah, I'll watch it at work. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It was funny. We were flipping through the other night because we'd watched some show, and my lady friend was like, how did it end in Mando season 2 again? She was asking me, and I was like, well, this happened, but then you have to remember we had the Book of Boba episode or 2 or 3 or whatever he was in, and so like the story was advanced since the end of
it ended with the Luke Skywalker episode, right?
Correct. Yeah. Luke walks out. That's the last scene.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway. All right, that's it for news. Let's talk Bad Batch. So quick thoughts overall before we kind of do the blow by blow. What were your thoughts about this episode?
Originally, I was a little meh. First time I watched it, I was like, oh, look, a lost episode of Clone Wars, which isn't a bad thing.
Has that vibe for sure.
Yeah, really, it does. Second time I'm watching it, I took it all in a little bit more, and then I was sort of like, they should have did the opposite. Like, you know, when the Bad Batch first started, it said the Clone Wars and it dissolved into the Bad Batch. It would have been kind of cool to dissolve back into the Clone Wars or something, you know? It did that because it very much had that feeling. I mean, it had the old mech, those robots. It had, I mean, everything. And this was a Clone Wars episode.
Absolutely.
I think there was a lot there, like in theme. You know, there was a lot of things they covered, but it was like just watching it was kind of a run-of-the-mill run and gun, right?
Yes, the pacing was very much like a Clone Wars show.
Yeah.
And of course, all the characters, like you said, and all the battle, the droids and all that kind of thing. I will say, Kevin Kiner, you beautiful bastard.
God,
you did it
man,
again.
yes.
That fucking music was great. Love the music.
Yeah. I'm really like trying to pay attention to that a little bit more. And I'm like, damn, man. He's like, and I could have swore we discussed recently, it kind of hit me when I was listening to music this time. Is he doing one of the TV shows or movies coming up too?
I can't remember if he's gone into live action yet or not. I think that was kind of the next step that they were expecting, but I don't think he's done it yet. I don't
think he has, but I thought that was an announcement. Or was it something that we discussed before?
It could be.
I don't know. It just kind of was something in the back of my head when I was watching it the second time. I was like, you know what? This music, like it really is like next to, I mean, you can't give Homeboy for The Mandalorian. I mean, his music's fucking fantastic, but that's really fitting for that show. Yeah. But this guy like really gives you that John Williams Star Wars feel. Mm-hmm. And he should be like, that legacy. He should carry on. I really enjoy the music.
And something that we've talked about before with different episodes of other shows is this had a taste of that Blade Runner feel. The music had kind of those like long, like drawn out horn sounds and stuff. Yep. And the visuals had a Blade Runner feel. Especially when they showed that new planet, Desix. I thought that was pretty sweet looking, that place. Mm-hmm. I think the only other thing I was going to say before we jump into it is just that, again, I've said this before, I just love looking at the Empire. I love watching the way it operates, the current state of the Empire, and the effect it's having on the clones, especially Crosshairs. Yeah.
Well, that's what I said when I was saying themes. Like, there's a lot of depth. Like, if you listen to some of the dialogue, or you see where they're going. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Little lines tell you about like the conscripts and where they're going. And you see the stormtroopers show up, and they're like, and like that new. They don't match the clones.
Armor, they're getting closer.
Right? Yeah, like everything's changing a little bit. And there's the discussion of what's the new. I was gonna write it down. It was
the defense bill.
Exactly. Which is basically gonna force conscripts into like each planet's going to have to send so many, or they're at a certain age. I'm not quite sure how it works, but there was that. There's quite a few little things. Even the conversation at the end between Cody and Crosshairs.
Well, yes, and that scene where they're in the cafeteria and they're talking about the defense recruitment bill. It sounded like two people around the water cooler talking about layoffs coming. They're like, I don't know if you're going to be retained, man. I don't know. Is my job safe?
Right.
Okay, so let's get into it. Right off the bat, we see this awesome looking planet Desix, which I don't believe we've seen before.
I don't think so.
And people are doing their thing, working away, and then the Empire rolls in, and that's when we meet Governor Tawny Ames, who greets, what'd you call him? Rotten Grotton? What'd you call him?
McGrotton.
McGrotton.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're seeing that trooper design slightly morphed. It's not quite to the original trilogy, but it's getting there. Mm-hmm. And then back on Coruscant, Crosshair wakes up all groggy, just got the worst fucking. It looks like he's got the worst hangover in the world. And that's when he heads to the mess hall and hears those guys talking about the layoffs.
I think perfect title for this, but like there's several ways that you could take it, but like he is depressed.
Yeah. I don't think he knows what to do. He's literally at a point where he's like, the only thing I can focus on as my driver of my life is that I'm a soldier and I follow orders. That's literally all he has because he doesn't know who to like believe in. I mean, even later on when he kind of feels like he forms a good rapport with Cody. And then Cody fucking goes AWOL and he's like, I got no, and everybody hates him. Clearly he's a total loner. He's like a ghost walking around.
Well, that's the one thing is we don't really see it yet. You kind of feel it in his alone moments, but he's not really giving off that energy where like he's having doubts or second guessing.
It's just real subtle, but it's not enough that it's overtaking his actions by any means, for sure, because he's still on board with all that stuff. But you know, he sits there, and of course the Rampart calls him. Dickhead Rampart needs to see him in his office. Somebody brought up a good point, by the way, on Twitter. They go, "Is it me or is Rampart got video feed on the?" You saw that on the mess hall? And just,
I didn't see it, but
the second he sits down to eat, goes, "Okay, let's call him."
I wanted to see something like the second time that it happens later on in the episode.
Yeah.
You know, the part in Mr. Mom with Keaton where he's like, Herb, clean up in aisle 4. He's just like, Herb, I was never in aisle 4.
Never anywhere near aisle 4.
Crosshair's losing his shit. Like,
oh my
can
God.
I fucking eat an apple?
That is so fucking funny that you just said that because literally just talked about Mr. Mom the other day. I love that movie and I was talking to my lady friend about it because we've been watching... What show we've been watching? I can't remember, but there's these ads for some show where this woman gets hired at a newspaper to like work in the obituaries, and the dead people actually meet her, like greet her and talk to her.
Oh wow! And
the first one is Martin Mull, and I'm like, do you know who Martin Mull is? And she's like, no. And I said, okay, do you remember Mr.
Martin
Mom,
Mull.
the shithead boss?
Yes, the boss.
And she's like, oh, okay. So we were talking about that, and I was like, God, I love that movie. How about like a little trim of that mustache, Ron? He's got that fucking chainsaw. God, I love that movie. Anyway. So she greets them and basically says to the Imperial, hey, you ain't coming here. We are independent. You can go tell your empire that. Although actually I'm just going to go ahead and arrest you. And we're going to demand that they recognize us in order for us to release you. And we actually we start seeing, because she calls in the battle droids, little Roger action. Yeah. So you get some of that going on. But back to Crosshair. He goes up to meet Rampart, and Rampart's like, so how long were you on that platform?
What's he say? 32 rotations?
Yeah, 32 days. This motherfucker sat on that platform, and he couldn't drink the water around him. Seawater.
That's why I was like, all right, you can drink your piss once, right? Mm-hmm. And then what do you do after that? Like, is he down there? Did he find something? Like, was he spear fishing? Like, he had to survive one way or another.
I don't know how.
If he's just on a platform, we've seen the platform. There wasn't anything else. So.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he tried to go down that platform and back but there was nothing there. It was all cut off and destroyed. Mm-hmm. I mean, it certainly sounded like he needed a lot of recovery time from that. So he was not doing well, whatever he was doing during those 32 days. Yeah. But I mean, Rampart is even like kind of in a pathetic tone is like, wow, you really stayed there? Like, why? Like, why'd you do it? And he's like, because I'm an Imperial soldier. He's like, okay.
What do you mean, why'd I do it? You fucking left me there. It's like, where else am I going to go?
Yeah, exactly. What's he going to do? So he assigns him to go to Desix, do a little fake diplomatic mission, and basically take over and rescue Rotten McGrotton. And so who does he report to? Fucking Commander Cody. We finally get him back. Yeah. It's been so long. People have been waiting to see him show up in different series forever. So we finally get to see him. And he apparently asked for Crosshair specifically.
Yes.
So they have a history. And they have this little side chat where they're standing at the memorial wall there about disobeying Order 66. And Crosshair's like, you know, because I think Cody says something like some other clones have been disobeying the order. And Crosshair goes, well, then they're all traitors like the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And that's when Cody's got that like, oh, that stings. Like he still feels bad about fucking Kenobi.
Too soon.
And there's a lot of that in this episode where there's that you catch that side glance of him where he's just like clearly the guilt of living with Kenobi's supposed death.
Assumed
is
death,
just gnawing at him. So the clones come into Desix. And they're like, we're going to surprise him. This is going to be great. We're going to jump out. We're going to kill all the fucking droids. It's going to be fantastic.
I love her conversation with McGovern.
Yeah, McGrotton.
When she says, apparently they decided not to negotiate.
Yeah. He looks down like, uh-oh.
Yep. She's like tapping her gun. Like, oh, shit's going to go down.
And she has an interesting comment there, too, where she talks about how Dooku was right. Like, Dooku knew this was going to evolve or devolve into just a mess, this republic.
Dooku's such a hard one to wrap my head around because, like, he was the leader of the Separatists, but he had info from Palpatine. At some point, like, he had to have known he was working both sides and they were really the same. Like, you know, it's a difficult thing to be like, okay, so he knew shit, but everyone else was, you know, on this side of like, well, we're not going to be part of the Republic anymore. We're this other thing. And then the Empire becomes the Republic.
Yes. I mean, and he was obviously working both sides. And of course, his whole tie to Palps and all that. I mean, later she talks about Governor Ames talks about how she was on board with Bonateri, Mina Bonateri, who tried to put that, who worked with Princess Amidala in the Clone Wars to try to put that like peace treaty forward between the two.
Right.
And all the while, Dooku did that as like kind of as a ruse and set her up and ended up having her fucking killed to break the whole thing open.
Yep.
So Dooku was all over the place. He was after just his own interests, you know? So then they shoot down the clone ship and Cody and Crosshair get out. They are able to they're like, we have to go attack the city on foot. Now that scene where he shoots the fucking tank is pretty sweet.
That's pretty badass. Now, question.
Yes.
Now, when their little troops go down there and they're all dead. It's not what they say, but they're all dead, right? And then, surprise, we lived, you know, Commander Cody and Crosshair. But then when they make it into the building, they've got stormtroopers with them. So do they all fake their death? Where'd the other ones come from?
Well, so hold on. So there's some that are on the ship that are like lying there limp. And I don't know if they were dead or not. I assume some guys died in the crash, but then the rest were all outside. But you're saying there were actual stormtroopers with them?
Well, the group.
Or you're saying clone troopers?
Clone.
Well, they split up. When they go in, they split up.
When I took it as we were led to believe they died in the ship, except for the two of them that shot them all, and then come out of the smoke, and then all of a sudden there's more of them. So
no. Those guys are all following them. They're all there from the get-go. I think all those guys survived at the time. They just lost some of them.
There was a handful of them that jumped out.
Yeah, correct. They make their way in, and he shoots that fucking tank and blows it up, which is a pretty sweet move. It's cool watching Crosshair in action because he's pretty badass, you know?
Yeah.
And then they get inside the city walls, and here come the destroyer droids, or whatever they call them. Droidicas or something? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the rolling droids with the shields.
Yeah, it's cool because they can actually hear them coming. And they're like, he immediately knows what they are.
I feel like this episode was like there was negotiations in between season 1 and 2, and Crosshair's like, I need my time to shine. It's like a.
He went to the director.
Yeah, he got like a standalone episode because like
Dave, Mr. Filoni.
This really was like, you know, I'm a badass and you're gonna show it.
They all went through it because Echo went to Filoni and it's like, can I get some fucking lines and have a bigger role here? I was kind of one of the hearts of the.
No more special guest star. All right, I want a lead role.
Oh, that's funny. So then after they get past those dudes, the destroyer droids, because they're doing a little grenade trick, then they start scaling the bell tower and they run into the droid commandos. I mean, these guys have everything at their fingertips.
That's why I said it was Clone Wars all over again. I tell you what though, that kill Crosshair does, because like remember the episode were they teaching Saw Gerrera's group how to roll? It was his sister, right? Before she died. How to roll them just the right speed, and they would go through the force field and blow them up. And you'd see a couple of that, and it wasn't happening. But the one where he attaches it to the droid and shoots it, and it falls like back, melts into the freaking, and then blows up. I was like, that was badass.
Pretty fucking badass move.
Yes.
And then later he does the trick because he gets jumped and is being strangled. And we see that Cody's got one of those hunter knives, the knives that Hunter has, and stabs it and saves him.
The droid slayer. We're just gonna call those knives the droid slayer knives.
I like it. Yeah. The droid slicer. And then he's kind of, slightly shaken up, and he's like, I can make the shot from here. You gotta throw these pucks up there. So we get that puck thing, which he did in season 1. He had it set up when they were in like the training room, and he did a kind of a similar deal. But he does like the magic shot that kills like 6 people in one thing, including the tactical droid.
This one's up the tower stairs and everything, but like
pretty impressive.
Real quick to go back.
Yeah.
Like he was desperate to be saved, and the way he calls out Cody was there seemed to be like a respect thing there.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't call him by his number, nothing else. Like it was Cody, and I took something from that.
Yeah, they clearly have a history and a mutual respect for each other.
Yeah.
So it seems like that runs deep, although we'll see how he feels now that he's got AWOL.
Yeah.
Then they get to the top of the stairs, and Governor Ames emerges holding McGrotton. And it's not McGrotton.
It is.
Holding him at gunpoint and demanding that the Empire acknowledge Death-6. And then she's like, if you acknowledge us as an independent system, I'll let him go. And clearly she's got to know she's fucked.
Yes.
But Cody's like walking the company line and is just like, hey, this is the Empire. We're here to establish peace and order.
She's like 2 minutes from like, I need a helicopter.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Anybody, help. She's so screwed. And that's when, she talks about the whole Bondetary thing and how, like, I thought peace was possible once, but clearly it's not. So she knows she's kind of screwed.
Right.
And so he puts his gun down and everything. And then that's when she releases the McGrotton and he's like, kill her.
Man.
Right away.
And Crosshairs, he does not have like a care. He's
No.
all right, I'll do it.
No, doesn't care at all.
But this is where the depth comes in, because this is like, now we know, okay, Cody must be struggling with things, because now he's seeing like everything he believes in and fights for is for what? Just so the Empire can have more toys? Like, what's the point?
No, it's true, because later he says the whole thing about to Crosshair about like, are we doing good here? You know? And that's when he's like, hey, we're soldiers. We just do what we're supposed to do. Like, that's it. Because that is how he compartmentalizes everything. Crosshair is if I just function in the sole role of just following orders and not questioning anything and just doing what I'm told, then I don't have to feel responsible for any of this.
I don't have
shit.
to listen to my conscience.
Exactly, because he just blocks it out.
Yep. You think there's gonna be an episode where like he fucking just like finally he swallowed enough of it, he can't do it anymore, just starts crying. Like he's
Loses
just an
it all.
emotional mess for 4 episodes.
He and Wrecker have a good cry together.
Yeah.
So the Empire shows up with a ton of troops, takes over the city, and it's clear that Cody's just having a total moral crisis and trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Well, he even notices, like, to me,
there's no clones coming in.
Yeah.
Right. It's all troopers.
Yeah. And, different armor, different. Do we call it armor? Because let's be real.
It's not very good armor. It's just an outfit, really.
Right. Yeah.
It will protect you from, I don't know, like scratching your arm open or something, or
maybe like a ricochet, but that's about it.
Maybe. Yeah. Like any going through sticker bushes, you're going to be A-okay.
Yeah. 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 No prickers on these armors.
Right. They get back to Coruscant, and that's when he has a conversation with Crosshair, trying to kind of figure out what are we doing here? Are we doing any good? Crosshair's like, sure. What's your problem? So, and he drops that line about how we're different from battle droids because we make our own choices and we have to live with them. More just Kenobi guilt.
Yes.
And also, I think kind of a little poke of Crosshair to be like, think about what you're doing.
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
And I think there was like maybe he's testing him a little bit to see what his answer is. If he says the right thing or responds, he's like, let's get out of here. Hold my hand. We'll be buddies.
That's right. But yes, but it's his way of being like, you can do this whole we're soldiers, we follow orders thing, but you're making a decision on your own, regardless of what you think.
Yeah.
You're responsible, dude. So the next day, Crosshair reports to Cunty McRampart and tells him
still doesn't finish his lunch.
He's got, exactly right as he's about to eat it. He's got a new mission for him, but he will not be reporting to Cody because Cody went AWOL. And he's like, what? Although kind of not like he kind of thinks back onto that conversation and I think is realizing, oh, I guess he was really questioning what he's doing here. So he decided to fucking leave.
Yep.
And then he says, funny how these clones around you keep disappearing. Ooh, sick burn, bro. And then Crosshair walks off all by himself because, that's his lot in life these days.
All by myself.
Fucking sad existence for this poor guy. I'm not going to call him a poor guy. He's a bastard.
Goes back and lives in his fucking room by himself. Now he's got no friends.
It's like there's people like that. He needs the order of the military.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. He wants clear defined orders and things he's supposed to do. He doesn't want to have to think about what's good and what's not or any of that stuff. He just follow the fucking rules and you're good to go.
I think part of it is whether we think the inhibitor chip is there or not. Like, that's just the way he's built. Like,
right. It could
to
be.
him, that is what he does to think he's doing right.
He's not good with change management, right?
Right.
He was raised and trained a certain way, and he's like, whoa. Like, I'm not going to go wild card here.
Like, he doesn't challenge like what we're doing it for. Mm-hmm. His ideal is, this is our job. This is what we're trained to do. Yeah. This is what we do. We don't question. Good soldiers follow orders.
Yep. That's it. That's his fucking, he's got
sad existence.
He's got that sketched above his bed in that lonely room of his.
Yeah.
Although Cody does say at one point to him, Good soldiers follow orders. He says it earlier in the episode.
Yep.
So that's when you know that got fucking Crosshair hard as a rock when he said that.
Oh,
He's
God.
Like,
Yeah. Finally, I can hear it in someone else's voice.
It sounds better when you say it.
I want to see the bathroom on their floor. Like, just everyone sketching it into the freaking stall.
Free T-shirts at the gift shop. And that's the end of the episode. So what's next? The next episode is called Faster. Excuse me?
Yeah.
No slower. Okay, now
Faster.
Don't come. Sorry. Obviously, we got to get back to the Bad Batch because we didn't really see them at all in this episode, aside from Crosshair, of course. So are we going back to like a mission of the week thing here? Or are we going into something that's more a part of the longer term story? Because obviously Cody left and went AWOL. I don't think we're going to see him that quickly.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But they're in the trailers, they did have the like conversation where up on the hollow comes Rex and he's like, I got a mission for you. But that might be later in the season.
Oh, that's true. Well, I don't know. I feel like you're right. It might be later in the first half of the season, but I feel like anything in the trailer, they've been pretty good about usually not showing you much
front loaded.
Haul. Yeah, exactly.
So that could be.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. I don't mind mission of the week, but I really like where they layer it a little bit more. So I'm hoping that we're moving somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know, so where I don't even know what to like guess for this right now.
Well, because I think the mission of the week really established in last season how they were operating and how they were surviving and all that kind of stuff. But
how they were
things have
making
changed
day by day. They were getting how they were surviving. They needed to survive. They needed Sid. They built all that relationship and planted those seeds. So now with all the questioning of like Echo and Tech in the first two episodes, like what are we doing? What are we fighting for? I think they need to move forward with that.
I think so too. I mean, maybe we see more Phee Genoa.
I think so.
God, I cannot say that name well.
Yeah, you don't introduce that character without a reason, Usually when they introduce a new character in a new season, they're usually heavily handed with like what's going to happen and progressing in that season. So
yeah, they introduced Sid, and we didn't know we were going to see that much of Sid. We saw a ton of Sid in the first season.
I mean, at some point, like, do you think Sid's bar is just going to get too hot?
Like they're going to be like she was talking about, like they're going to come. The Empire's going to come here.
Yeah, well, because at some point they're going to start zeroing down on them. I mean, Rampart knows they're still alive now, and he's not going to let that be known. But he's probably, to save his own ass, going to start, giving a little look-see.
So who's he sending after?
Let's put in feelers.
Is he sending after Imperials, or is he going the bounty hunter route or some other like back channel route to try to find where they are and kill them so that he doesn't get in trouble with Tarkin for them not being dead already?
Oh, certainly that'll be the way he wants to go. But with Cody out there, I think if we do see Cody, maybe he does get a hold of Rex.
I can see that happening.
That lets them know, like, Crosshair survived as well. He's back. He's back on active duty. So look out.
Yeah, I could see the Rex mission being to help Cody somehow.
Right.
Like he's gotten in contact with him somehow. I could see that. I mean, and Gregor and Wolf are still out there. We know that they show up later in Rebels, so we might see them as well. We will have to see. All right, let's go to the Maul Bag.
Hello there.
You've got mail.
Okay.
Oh.
One email, and Jay's mad about it. Next time, this isn't going to fly. Mike Laybourne. He said, quote, "Dark and broody is a piss poor nickname." That was what Sid called Hunter. What nicknames would you suggest for each member of the Bad Batch? What you got? So where do you want to start? Hunter?
Yeah, let's go with Hunter.
Okay, I had a thought. Iron Mike.
Iron Mike?
Questionable face tattoo.
Oh, okay. All right, I see where you're going. Yeah. We call him Skull and Flesh instead of Skull and Bones.
Skull and Flesh.
Well, he's kind of got the skull tattoo, right? That was a bad one. That was worse than Dark and Brody.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Wrecker.
I hate myself.
You're good. I would say Wrecker is CTE because that motherfucker's got more concussions than
Rocky. Adrian.
Yeah, very punch drunk, that one.
Yes.
Tech, I mean, what are you going to call him other than nerd? He's a fucking nerd. He's very robotic nerd, too.
You can call him mainframe.
He could. Anything that has to do with a computer, I think, works because he is not, it's almost like he's half machine anyway, more so than Echo even.
Yeah. Yeah. Mentally, anyway.
No social
graces.
Like
Echo's like fighting to be any amount of human he can still push out.
Right.
Tech is a fucking walking calculator.
Echo?
Echo?
Yeah, what do you call Echo?
I was just echoing your echo.
Echo. Let's call him. I mean, he's a cyborg essentially at this point.
Yeah.
Let's call him Bjorn Borg.
Bjorn Borg. All right. I like it.
Although he's probably shit at tennis because he's got no backhand.
Well, he might, he could probably attach a racket.
Attaches the racket to it.
Yeah.
Crosshair. What you got?
Geez. I mean, like, that's sort of the perfect name for him, right? Like, what else would you call him?
Kyle Rittenhouse? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I would go with myopic. He is very fucking focused on one thing. He's got his only thing in life is this one thing, and that's the only thing he can operate in. That's the only area he can operate in.
Laser focused.
Laser focused. There you go. Omega? The only thing I could come up with was I was calling her Cloneness Everdeen.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not going to do better than
They're
that.
both good with a bow.
I should have looked at this list earlier. I would have came up with some good stuff.
I told you to.
Yeah, you did. I know.
Sorry, Mike. I did my best. I can only lead the horse to water.
I read it earlier, but like I didn't put any thought into it after that. I was like, it's Mike Claiborne.
I mean, I spent 5 minutes on it, but that was what I came up with.
Yeah.
All right, we got a FACPAtoid?
We got a FACPAtoid. Okay, so the Stormtrooper uniform armor we saw in this episode were based on original artwork by Ralph.
Whoa. Did something just try to escape your body?
Yeah, there's demons in there. By Ralph McQuarrie.
McQuarrie?
Yeah.
McQuarrie?
That's what I said.
Okay.
I have to say it wrong.
Sure.
I don't want to be the same as everyone else. There's fucking 900 Star Wars podcasts out there.
That's true, and they don't say McQuarrie.
I know. Now, 60% listeners are going to be like, they're going to be talking in a conversation and they're going to say it. And then they're going to be, well, actually, and get corrected by some Darth Mathias motherfucker.
Probably, although I can't say Genoa. I keep saying Genoa, even though that's a city. But, Phee Genoa.
Oh, okay.
Genoa.
Right.
See, I did it again. So is that the end of the FACPAtoid?
That's just all I had. That's the Stormtrooper uniform. That's what it was. It was based on the original art. Like if you look at the art, those match. Like
it is incredible.
What do you want from me?
It is incredible. What do you want from me? I got 9 minutes to prep for the show, right?
Yeah.
That was 30 seconds right there.
I thought that was interesting because that is like it's the middle ground between what they ended up going with realistically in the Star Wars movies and what we'll see later on, obviously in this, and then that little group of them. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like that they use the stuff that was unused from the concept art and all this stuff. Like they did the, that big ass fucking spider creature or whatever from the second season of Mandalorian. So they're going back and they're still using this stuff.
It's amazing when it comes up, because it comes up a lot where they'll be like how many fucking drawings did Ralph McQuarrie do? Because
I know.
It must be just page after page after page and book after book, because it keeps coming up. Every new series we have, it's like, this is actually from that. This is from that. You keep getting these little anecdotal spots. But the thing is, I love when they show concept art, because I just saw something where they were showing concept art for Andor and like, this is what the ISB room was, the concept for it was.
Yeah.
And every time I see concept art, I think, okay, did they like go back after and go, let's make it look like what it actually ended up being, so it looked like we fucking nailed it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, was that really your first draft of the concept art where you're like, let's make it look like this, nailed it? Or is it like, let's fine tune this a little bit so it looks a little bit more like what we actually put on screen? Cynical.
I think that it might be a little bit of both, but I know sometimes they have multiple concept artists working on things, and then they'll settle on like the idea they want, and then they go back and they do it, and it gets to that fine point, so that way they can replicate what the image is.
Yeah, because Mando did that, right? Wasn't it Mando that would show it in the credits? And Book of Boba did as well, or just Mando?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Oh,
I think maybe just Mando.
Didn't they do it during the, because it was. Right, it was the Boba Fett song, and then the end of it, by the end of the series, the song had words, but they were showing images too, right?
I think, maybe it was just at the end of the season they showed it. But the Mando show, they were doing it every week. They would show the concept art that they had for that week. I thought that was really cool.
I want those books, but they're expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a giveaway.
Not a bad idea. We're giving everything away.
You'll just keep it. You'll just keep it.
Yeah. You'll get it when I'm done with it. Hey, do we want to tell the listeners how far we are? What's the movement on the new image?
On the new logo?
Yeah.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of movement. You and I have had a couple very quick conversations in DM.
You and who?
You and me.
Oh, okay.
I sent you a picture and said, "You mean kind of like this?" You go, "Yeah."
I thought you were
like
doing something else besides asking me. So I
haven't done anything yet. So
Okay.
I want us to come up with 1 or 2 concepts that we both like, and then I'll go to the guy and say, "What can you make that looks like this?" And we'll see how it comes out, and then we'll put it together. It could be good to do it pretty soon because we're trying to kind of do a little rebranding.
New
of the
T-shirts.
Pod this year. So we should do
2 hosts, better podcast. What?
Ooh.
And with that, Cole, thanks for listening. Until next time.
In our experience, there's no such thing as luck. I'm going old school.
Oh, okay. We have spoken.